Well, the Biden administration is granting nearly 500,000 Venezuelan migrants temporary legal status, TPS.
Now that is allowing them access to work permits in the United States. And the decision is meant to ease the burdens on U.S. cities as the number of border crossings returns to near record levels.
For more, let's bring in CBS News immigration reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez. Okay, Camilo, we have heard from especially the city of New York, the lawmakers in D.C., from the governor of New York, that one of the things that needed to happen for people to, and for migrants as well themselves, is they need TPS so that they can work and not have to rely on the resources of the city and the state of New York. So explain to us, what does TPS mean besides, some work permits, and how limited or unlimited are those?
Hi, Lilia and Lana. This really is an unprecedented immigration announcement. Never before has the U.S. government offered work permits and deportation protections to nearly 500,000 migrants already here in the U.S. under the Temporary Protected Status Program. This is a policy that was created by Congress in the 1990s to offer a temporary safe haven to migrants from countries facing a humanitarian crisis like Venezuela is right now because of the economic calamity there and the political instability there. This will allow an expected 472,000 Venezuelan migrants here in the U.S., including many of those who are in New York City shelters, to apply for work permits under TPS. And this comes after months of pressure from New York City and other localities that have been struggling to house migrants. These local leaders, Lilia and Lana, have been asking the Biden administration, the federal government, to provide legal status to migrants so they can stop relying on city services and find actual work legally. This, importantly, will not benefit new arrivals. There is a July 31st cutoff date, so Venezuelans who cross the border unlawfully after this announcement will not be eligible for TPS.
Yeah, and Camilo, just jumping in, I think that's important to stress, because that was one of the concerns that people from the White House and some of the lawmakers that I've heard from say is, a lot of people are concerned that granting TPS means you're going to incentivize more Venezuelans to come. But, it's important to note that the majority of Venezuelans are staying in countries like Colombia. It's not that people are saying, it's the border is open for everybody. There is a deadline, and that deadline is July 31st, you said?
You got it.
Okay,
yes.
so
New
people
arrivals
coming
will not
after
qualify
don't
for
get
TPS.
But Camilo, I'm wondering, might this be expanded? Might it be expanded either to other nations? Because this is only, as we understand it, right now just for Venezuelans, and only for that group that arrived prior to this deadline.
Correct. The U.S. does have other TPS programs for countries like Afghanistan, Ukraine, Cameroon, and Myanmar. But the administration has been facing pressure, Lilia and Lana, to expand TPS to other countries like Nicaragua because of the conditions in those countries. But the administration, as Lilia highlighted, has been concerned that if they expand this program very broadly, that will encourage more migrants to cross into the U.S. without legal permission. As you know, there have been record levels of migration along the U.S.-Mexico border in recent weeks, and those numbers have only increased to near record levels in recent days. Just yesterday, nearly 9,000 migrants were apprehended by Border Patrol. That is a near record level that we have not seen since early May, just before the Title 42 pandemic policy was lifted.
All right, Camilo, thank you.
Thank you.